Well, good morning, everybody. I am back on again for another motivating, inspiring, encouraging, and empowering video this morning. So today, we're going to talk about living independent of fear and judgment from others. So if you guys have been following me long enough, you know that in the morning we've been talking about relationships. We talked yesterday about toxic versus abusive relationships. What's the difference? We've been talking about healing, a whole lot of different topics, right? So all this month, today makes the 17th day that I have been going live with these videos every morning, and we've been talking about different topics. And so we got to the rest of the month to do the exact same thing. Every morning, I'm gonna come on probably about 7:15 or, in between that time. So just kind of, be on the lookout for the video, okay? So now this morning, hey, good morning, Laura. Hey, this morning we're going to talk about living independent of fear and judgment from others. So, good morning, Miss Karen. So, we're doing this morning. I'm out here walking, so sorry about that. If you hear me stop and say hi to some people, that's what I'm doing. But anyway, so that's what the topic is. I'm going to post it because I don't think I posted it on here. So now I apologize to you guys because I do these videos on Facebook and I also do these videos on my YouTube channel. So follow me on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, go watch some videos. I got tons of videos on there. So, and I'm trying to build my YouTube channel. So please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. It's Jackie Wilson Speaks, okay? Jacke Wilson Speaks. So go follow me on my YouTube channel. But anyway, today we are talking about living independent of fear and independent of judgment from others, right? So now I'm going to tell you a couple stories now, how that relates to me. So how do we live independent of fear, independent of judgment of others? Now, as a life coach, I hear so much from my clients that are talking about, and just conversations in general too, of people that are so concerned about what other people think. And I can see why, because you probably grew up in the era that I did in the 70s, 60s, 70s, really the 70s, okay? Even because I was born in 67, but I think more of my life was in the 70s, right? So I'm a 70s child. So if you were raised during that time, then guess what? You probably were told kids are made to be seen and not heard, right? Relationships, you just stay in those relationships no matter what's going on. And, the women, just be loyal to the men. Let him go out. Men are going to be men, right? We probably heard things like this. So we grew up thinking, well, this is just what we're supposed to deal with. And we listen to other people. Pay attention to the older people. The elder people know more, right? They tell you what to do. You listen. You give them advice. You just listen to that advice. So you grow up with your parents giving you advice, and you just taking advice from everybody, right? And not really using what's called critical thinking. And so when you don't use your critical thinking, then that hinders you from being able to think for yourself, for you to figure things out on your own. So I know I had to do those things even with my kids. When they started to get maybe about 16, 17 years old, it's like, okay, so now instead of you asking me stuff, I got to start asking you. Well, what do you think about that situation? What do you think you should do in that situation? What do you think that person should have done in that situation? So then I start asking them questions, right? Because I want them to start doing what? Building their critical thinking. So when we don't have that, when we are so stuck on getting advice from other people, and you're probably going to say, well, Jackie, you giving me advice too, right? Well, yes, I'm giving you advice, but the advice I'm giving you is from a positive standpoint. I'm being honest with you. I'm also going to be, hold on a minute. I'm giving you good advice, but I'm also giving you advice that's going to help build you up, okay? It's going to help you to become a better version of who you are. I'm never going to say anything negative to try to bring you down, to try to damage your self-esteem, to try to make you feel less than. I'm never going to do that because that's not who I am. So, with that being said, I'm going to tell you, surround yourself around people that are going to help you become that better version of who you are. They can be honest with you about things that you're doing, decisions that you've made. It's a way to be honest with a person about it and be straightforward. but not to make that person feel bad about the decisions that they made. That should be a teaching moment, right? So, we have to consider what other people, the thoughts that they have is based on their experience. And they're going to share it with you. Sometimes whether you ask them or not, right? They're going to share it. So you have to learn how sometimes you can take people's advice and sometimes you don't. Sometimes that advice applies to you and sometimes it doesn't. So you take what you can get, especially if it's positive. And even if it's, giving some correction. If it's going to help you, then look at that as that's a positive. So I'm going to take some of that advice because that's a positive. If it's checking to make sure about cars. If it's not a positive, then don't take it. And if it doesn't apply to you, if you don't see yourself in the advice of what that person is telling you, then don't take that advice. Because 9 times out of 10, it probably doesn't apply to you. It's something that they've experienced and they want to share that with you because they think it didn't work for them. So they're going to share that information with you. So you got to kind of be careful about that. It's just like, I kind of look at it like with pastors and teachers. Some people were just blessed with being able to have the heart, the mind to help others. It's just a gift and talent that God has blessed them with, right? And you'll know by the way that person is speaking with you, by the advice that they give you, the suggestions they give you, the conversation you have with that person. If you're feeling comfortable around that individual while you're talking to them, if the conversation is flowing easily, if you're receiving what they're saying, even if it might be something that might be a little tight for you and you're like, dang, they didn't have to say it that way. But you know what? I can relate to what they're saying. When you're around people that can tell you, give you constructive criticism, and like I said, it might be a little tight, but it's not going to make you get angry. It's not going to make you feel bad about yourself. You're not going to feel like I'm less than when you're talking to people. These people are people that have been blessed with the gifts and the talents to be able to speak into someone's heart and into someone's life, to edify that person, to encourage and inspire that person. So these are the people that you want to have in your life. These are the people that you want to allow to speak into your life. You can't just let, almost hit me. He was driving real crazy around that corner. These people, you can't just let them just have some of these people that are negative. You can't just let anybody just have, carte blanche in your life. They just can't have that type of access into your life because they'll steer you wrong. So you got to kind of look at that, okay, in terms of the type of people that you're bringing into your life. So when you're around the people that I just described, those are the people that God seriously placed in your life, strategically placed in your life to give you advice, to help you out along the way. Now, whether or not you take that advice, that is totally up to you. But when you leave from those individuals, you're not going to leave feeling down, feeling depressed. You're going to leave those individuals with conversations lifted up, encouraged. Even if you don't follow through with it, at that moment, you're going to feel encouraged with talking to that person. That's how you know that individual is supposed to give you advice. That's a person that you want to come back to get advice later on or suggestions, okay? That's how you want to judge the type of people that are in your life and how they're giving you advice and how you feel. How do you feel after you talk to somebody that has just given you some advice? Do you feel negative? And it's not always about, well, they feel that way because they didn't want to hear what I had to say because I was speaking the truth. Some people are going to be like that. No, there's a way to talk to a person. There's a way, even telling a person they're doing something wrong, their life is reckless. There's a way to talk to an individual and can still get your point across and make them feel like, wow, I really do need to make a change. So just think about the people that you're allowing to talk to you and how do you feel when you get off the phone with that person? How do you feel when you walk away from that conversation when it ends with that individual, okay? Just some things to kind of think about. So let's see. Lord, what are you saying down here? You said you have to love yourself and become independent of others. That is so true. I agree with you. Yep, I agree with you. I grew up in a household that you practice Jesus in front of others and practice hate at home confusing for a child. Yes, it is. Good morning, Katrina. Thanks for joining in. You are so right, Laura. Teaching children one way in the home, we grow up to be adults and we learn something totally different because we saw the confusion. We saw the how I want to say that. We saw the, when we say somebody's being moody, somebody's being sometimey, we see the confusion. We see the, I act one way here and I act another way at home. You know, not keeping your emotions even keel, not keeping your anger even keel, where it's like you can deal with any situation that you're in. We weren't taught that, you know, at least not during my years. Majority of us were not taught that way. So we grow up not really having an understanding of how to do life, you know, how to not live fearful of, you know, making a decision because we heard, oh, don't do that, you know, you might lose your money, don't invest in this, you might lose your money, you know. And so when we're hearing this for so many years, we grow up with that mindset where it's like, no, I'm not going to take that chance. But life is a chance, right? Life is a chance. Life is a risk, okay? Everything we do, getting in our car, going to work, going to buy a home, renting an apartment, meeting a new person, it's a risk because we don't know what's going to happen at the end of that, right? We don't know what's going to happen. Like now, I'm walking. I don't know what's going to happen on my walk, if I'm going to make it here safe. What I want to see is that I make it safe, right? But I really don't know what's going to happen around this corner over here. Okay, it's a risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take because what? I'm out here exercising, right? So I'm going to be as careful as I can as I'm walking, making sure I'm looking for cars behind me, all of this. So risk. How can we live our life and live our life independent of fear and judgment of others? So how can we do that? Fear could be whatever that it is, okay? That could be a job, relationship, home, buying a car, getting into a business with somebody, starting your own business. It's a risk, right? And there's a whole lot of other topics I could bring up. It's a risk. So you got to look at what is it that I can do to maybe limit some of those risks, okay? So if it's business-wise, then kind of do some research, okay? Do some research on the person you want to get in business with or the type of business you want to start. That's a risk, but it also brings fear because we're like, oh my gosh, should I do this? Should I do that? Oh, I don't know. How is it going to turn out? So sit down. On one side of the paper, I'm going to say write down what it is that you want to do. On one side of the paper, write down all of the negative things that could happen. On the other side of the paper, write down all of the positive things that could happen once you take this risk, what the end result could be. So after you do that, look at the paper and say, I can guarantee you're going to have more positive outcomes than you're going to have negative outcomes, okay? But we paralyze ourselves up here with just the thought of stepping out and doing something. Just the thought of saying, I'm not listening to so-and-so's advice, okay? Because they're very negative. They're always judging me. So I'm not going to listen to that person's advice. And then on the other end, we have that thought like, if I do that, that means we're not going to be friends anymore. It might start an argument. The person, if it's a relative, we're going to always bump heads every time we're around each other. That's going to be an argument. I don't want to deal with that. So, because my fear thoughts are telling me to just not say anything, just let it boil over, just let it fly by, don't say anything. Then what that's doing is keeping you in that negative energy environment, right? It's keeping you thinking, well, if I say something, he or she is going to react this way. I'm going to feel this way. This is what they're going to say. Sometimes when we be in our head, you know what we do? We talk ourselves out of doing something because we are so into what ifs. What about this? What about that? What about this, right? And then sometimes we don't even step out to do whatever that it is because we've talked ourselves out of it. So to where we like, I wasn't supposed to do that anyway, you know, or we tell somebody else who's negative and that person's like, girl, don't do that. You don't have money to do that. Investing. You know, I'm going to tell you this. I'll give you a story from me. Now, this is about fear. So I wanted to invest in the Bitcoin stuff, right? When it was going around. Even now, I still think about it. I was thinking about the other one, what's the cryptocurrency, right? That I wanted to do that. But you know what? I have a fear because I think if I go ahead and invest into that, and I invest with the wrong person, right? In the wrong way because I don't know anything about it, then guess what? I could lose my money, right? Even if I only put $100 in there, that's still losing money to me, okay? I don't have it like that to be where I can say, oh, $100 is like $1. No, I'm not there yet, okay? Down the line, I hope to get there. I'm not there yet. So I talked myself out of it, right? And I've been doing this for a while, talking myself out of it. Once I found out about what it was and the value that was there, and I was like, oh, I've been talking myself out of it. So I'm building my courage up because that's something that I want to do at some point, right? Is to invest in Bitcoin or crypto money, right? Cryptocurrency. So no one talked me out of it. I shouldn't say that. I did mention to a couple of people, and they were like, girl, you could lose your money. You shouldn't do that. I wouldn't get into that. So that just kind of fueled my fear that I had, right? So I didn't invest. And I was talking to my daughter, and I said, well, you know what? That's really messed up that I want to invest into this and don't know how to do it. It's a big risk. And she said, yeah, Ma, I know what you mean. She said, I feel the same way. So sometimes those risks can be where maybe it could even be something that could help you out in the long run, but maybe you don't have enough information about it. So I got to do some more research. You know, I'm a research person. So I'm gonna have to do some more research so I can figure out what it is to know about this. And so this way I can learn more about it, okay? And then make my educated decision on if it's something that I really want to do. So that's just kind of sharing a little story for me. Now, when we talk about the opinions of others, you got to look at, are these people really helping you? Are these people giving you positive energy? Watch your energy in the room, okay? If you're around negative people, that's going to make you be negative. It's going to make you not have encouragement, not be motivated, not be inspired to do some of the things that you know that God has placed on your heart to do. So you got to watch the room, got to watch that energy, okay? And figure out, do I want to keep these people into my life? Don't look at, if I let these people out, then how am I going to make it? You letting these people out of your life, evicting them out of your life, right? Eliminating them out of your life because their negative energy is going to help you to become a better version of you. Now, if there's going to be some people that you end up leaving in your life and you're like, well, wow, I really like being around this person. They are negative. Put up boundaries, okay? Even for the ones that you don't want to let go, put up boundaries, okay? If you want to keep all that negative energy in your life, then just use the boundaries that I'm going to share with you. Put those boundaries up. If they cross that line, say, you know what? You're being too negative right now. Can't be around you. I'm going to have to let you go. I'm going to have to cut you loose. You're being too negative. You know, so you can do things like this. Use your voice. Use your words. Articulate your words. You don't have to say it in a harsh way, but say it in a way where you can get them to understand. You guys are being very negative right now. You know, that's too negative, too much negative energy around me. I'm going to have to, cut y'all loose, okay? So you can do that. That will make a world of a difference with the people that you allow in your life. When you have boundaries, that's the biggest thing that I've learned as a life coach. And even just me in my personal life too, talking to people and just within myself, to have boundaries, but you don't utilize them. You don't enforce them. You just let people just trample over you. Oh, that's just my cousin. Oh, that's just my sister. That's just my brother. That's just my family member. That's just, my best friend. We've been friends since we were kids. That's just how they are. We give them a pass, right? But should we really be giving them a pass when they're saying these negative things that's hurting our feelings? We need to put those boundaries up and let them know, you can't say things like that about me, okay? I never say negative things about you. Bring it back and let them know I'm not a negative person. I don't talk to you like that. So I can't allow you to continue to talk to me that way, because they'll come up and say, well, you've been doing it. Yes, but I can't allow you to continue to treat me that way, right? So we have to be in that mindset to where you're taking care of who you are and you're wanting to have positive energy around, because the energy that's in the room, positive or negative, is what's going to either weigh you down or bring you up. So you got to think about it. Do you want to be weighed down every time you're around these people, or do you want to be raised up when you're around these people? Feel good, uplifted, feel good about yourself, feel good about the conversations that you guys are having. Think about that. So I hope I'm sharing some great valuable information with you guys that's helping you along your journey, that's helping you to become your greatest, version of you, or as I like to say, your authentic self, unique self. How is that? Is hopefully these morning videos are helping you, giving you tips, inspiring you, encouraging you to help you along the way. So with that being said, share the video with other people. Follow me on my YouTube channel that I'm building. It's called Jackie Wilson, Jacke Wilson Speaks. Jackie Wilson Speaks. So follow me on my YouTube channel that I'm building. Go on there, like a video, and also subscribe to the channel. If you're following me on Facebook, the Facebook video is different from the Instagram and the YouTube channel video. So that way you get a different perspective between the two videos that you're watching, okay? So with that being said, I will see you guys on the next video. Now, I don't know, I might be taking this weekend off, just this weekend off, and I'll be back on Monday. But I'll let you guys know. I'll post it into, on the page to let you know if I'm gonna be off this weekend, okay? But with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your day. I know it's probably getting a little where you can't see me because of the sun and the shade, but I got to get my walk in. I usually do about 3 times around this mall, and then I'm good to go. That's about 3 miles. So with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your morning. Be encouraged, be inspired, be motivated. Go share that information with someone else, and I will see you guys when you got it on the next video. Bye bye, guys.